goal for today is to make a breakdown, talk about how I made this song. Um, so this is like my last Friday night remix. Unlike other tutorials or other breakdowns, like I'm not gonna go through everything here, but I want to go through the parts that were like the biggest breakthrough moments for myself, just so I can kind of document this and um, be able to look back on this, see how I made my song. So the first thing is the first part of my process is I always look for a reference track. And one of my pet peeves now with like anybody that sends me um sends me a song and asks for feedback, I always ask for the reference track. But if you don't have one, then I don't really know what the vision is. I'm just going to give you biased opinions on your song. So every single time I make a song, I always have a reference track and I make a note to have one, even if I'm only using like one part of it. So my reference track was this song by Two Friends.
Got a lot of love, little bit less money. Don't need too much on me. Besides you, met a couple friends. You've been on what's up, but it's cool. Cause I be looking at you.
Yeah, so I think I chose this one because I just saw Two Friends at Coachella and then also at in Vegas as well. So it was a good song for me to use as a reference. So I wanted kind of like a this party energy that came from this, and the first thing I really noticed is like the vocal chops, and then like there's like a really simple bass line with this. So when I had to start this one, um, the first thing was really figuring out like what's the main thing of the song, and I think that was like one of the biggest problems that I went through in the beginning, where um, where I would produce like random things, and or I would have one idea for the verse, and then in the drop it'd be completely different. Um, but what I like about my songs is that everything is really simple, and there's always like that thing to latch onto, and everything else in the composition really supports that. So um, the thing of this song is this like little bass line here. It's like this percussive bass line. Not that one. This one. This is bass percussion preset Inspire. And then so that's like the main thing, that rhythm. I got it off of like I think the original has like a bass line that's very similar to that as well. So I kind of base it off of that since it's a remix anyway. And let's see. And then I had like a bass guitar as well. So then with the context here, it sounds like this. So both of them together with the sub. It's pretty nice. Pretty simple. But that's pretty much it. Like it follows, it's kind of like a variation on the original sample. Um, so that's the first thing. Uh, the next, like after that, like everything just kind of follows that rhythm. So the next thing that the kind of next breakthrough I had was with the vocal chops. And this is like, I don't know how I stumbled upon this, but this was vocal chops are really hard for me to figure out. I usually figure them out by accident, but this one actually works. So this one sounds like this. Unmute everything. Just like that. And what I mostly did is like I put this in Fruity Slicer, and I just like the thing about Fruity Slicer is like it's very limited. Like somebody tell me how to fix this, because after 124 it jumps to like 1500, so I don't really know how to get the sounds in between. So what these are just the cards that I'm dealt. But I kind of just played around. I honestly don't remember how I got that to this part, like, but it sounds pretty good, right? Catchy, catchy. So then I added that with the bass line. And then it goes back into the vocals with like a little stutter in between. The main learning lesson I got from this one though is that the vocal chops and everything else in the drop needs to support the thing, and that's the thing I see other producers like make the mistake of, is like there's so many things in the drop that there's nothing to attach to. So the main thing is that rhythm that the bass line is doing, so I want to make sure the vocal chops are supporting that as well. So yeah, everything else supports, even the chords here, same rhythm. So just make sure that everything supports the main thing, and that's how you can make the song sound really simple but really effective as well. Next thing too is like what I did in this really set the precedent for my other songs, but adding these brass impacts, these brass tabs really make a difference. So at first I made the drop and it sounded like this. It just wasn't hitting. So I in the reference there's like the brass tabs, kind of like reverses and stuff like that. So I added brass tabs and it just made a whole lot, like it just made the vibe so much like more, made it definitely like increased the energy of this song. Definitely gets that Two Friends vibes. And I think something that I was afraid of doing before was copying too much of the reference track. But I think copying too much of the reference track is better than like not copying it at all and trying to make it sound so different that your song doesn't even sound good anymore. So I tend to stick to the reference that I chose. There's a reason why, and because I kept listening to the reference track, I was like, I need brass, so I added that in, and that made a big difference for that. Also with remixes too, I like to use the original source material. So luckily for some reason, I think I found this on YouTube, but there's like the Last Friday Night official vocal stems, and they're pretty clear as well. I think it goes, okay, it's not playing. But I really like my favorite part of this song is like the TGIF part. So at first I added it into this build up right here because I wanted to kind of be like a hype up moment. And it's like everybody cheering at the end or when the drop hits. So it's got like Two Friends vibes, like Galantis vibes. So I wanted to add that, but you can barely hear it there. So I decided to put it in the beginning as well, kind of like teasing the song before it comes in. There's a stranger in my bed. There's a pounding in my head. And then, but yeah, and then also there's like little ambiances as well right here that I made from the vocal stem itself. The little Katy Perry voice. So yeah, that made a big difference there. A couple of other things. Let's see. So I call this like the Ben Your Friend break because you not only hear it in this song, but you'll hear it in like so many of the other remixes. I kind of like sneak it in there like an Easter egg. But if we listen to this, like the like kind of like the mid drop fill, um, it's kind of like that little pause and the delayed impact. I really like that, and all it really is like adding in a kick on the and of one, like taking out the moving it from here to here, and then I like to add this little short drum fill. I really like this, and the reason why I use it all the time is because this is one of the first samples I ever used when I started producing, like the Cashmere sample pack. So I like to always sneak that uh, into my remixes and my songs. So if you hear it, I like that's what I call like the Ben Your Friend break. And then lastly, biggest learning lesson from this first remix I ever made was mixing. So there's a lot of people out there, you know, that say mixing is super important. And there's a lot of people out there that say like, no, mixing is not important. It's all about it's all about the composition. Um, and I definitely believe that like the composition is the most important part of this. Like if you don't have good songwriting, mixing is not going to solve your problem. But if if you know your song is really simple, you know your song is really good, and you're just not it's not quite sounding professional. Like for me, I was listening back to the song and I was like, it doesn't have that like professional sound. Why does it sound like amateur? Right? I didn't know what it was, and I realized it's my mixing. And when I talk about mixing, 90% of the time it's just a matter of balancing the volumes. So that's what's really helped me with this song, was balancing the volumes and knowing how to do that. And it's less about knowing how to mix, and it's more about like training your ear knows, so that your ear knows what it needs to listen out for. So that was a big learning lesson. I won't go into like any of the mixing that I did here or how I mix yet. Might do that in another one, but mixing is just as important as the composition is. So that's how I made my Last Friday Night remix, and we'll play it through just cause. So I will include. I'll either include the project file and I'll include like the zipped project file, either in the description or you can message me on Instagram. I'll be able to send it to you. But I feel like every time I see these like breakdowns of tracks, like sometimes I just want to be able to like have the project and be able to like break it down and look through it myself. So, um, if you download the project, you might not have all of the same like plugins and things like that and the same synths, but you can take a look at it however much you have. You can be able to remix this one or be able to take anything from it. So um, that's what I want to do with these, like uh, give access to the actual project as well. So that one was a fun one. Let's do another one though. Hmm. Should I just go in order? I might just go in order. Let's see what is next. Hmm. We'll do this one. Oh no, missing a sample. Bruh. Different else. Something else. Something else. This one. All right. Okay. So this one is my song "Overdue," and this is what it sounds like if my computer will work. Let it all go. Ooh, hold on. How does it do this? All right. Okay, it should work. This is the breakdown on how I made my song Overdue. This one is kind of like a more like radio dance pop type of thing, but with like a twist. So it's not like house, but we'll listen to it.
Let it all go. I won't cry. Not tonight. Yeah, so long and goodbye. Every size, petty fights and lonely nights. I got lost in the feeling. I got tricked in believing you. I got lost in the feeling. I did. You and know better. I should do better. And it's too late for you to be somebody better. Stop looking so sad, like you mad about what we had. Stop looking like you care, like it ain't fair. Ain't nothing there. This ending, I'm so sad, like you mad about what we had. Stop looking like you care, like it ain't fair. Ain't nothing there. This ending's overdue. Let it all go.
All right. Okay. So this one, it's super simple. It's like there's like barely anything. There's only drums, percussion, like samples. There is the bass, and then some piano chords and the pad. That's really it. Strings. That's pretty much it. The main thing, right? Or first off, reference track. Uh, my reference track with this was like a Fred Again song. Um, there is a Fred Again song. I think I forgot what it was called. Let me see if I can find it. Was it "Leave Me Alone"? Yeah. So the bass in this one changes. The wobble changes every time the pitch goes up and down. So I wanted to do something with that. And just really have a song where I can like play around with that technique. So this is where I got this bass, and I kind of like it. It's a really good combination for like UKG type of bass, but sounds like this. Yeah. So there's not that much in the song, so we'll kind of break down this one first. The main part of it is this serum patch that I made, um, based on based on like a Sam Smyers like tutorial on how to make that bass. So I replicated it and I started playing around with it. It sounds like this alone. It has this like knob to change the wobble, and with context, it sounds like this. Let me see if I can just do the sound. So how I did that is I just automated the macro knob on that. The macro knob is controlling. Let's see what it's controlling. Macro 1, LFO rate. So yeah, this rate right here goes up and down depending on what that macro is. So I kind of played around with it, and I all I really wanted was like the wobble to be faster at a certain time. I wanted kind of like that triplet sound right there. So there wasn't really like you can't really do rhythms with it on the hertz thing. So I had to try to guess it. And then it's also automating macro 2, which is kind of like the brightness or something. Let me see what this sounds like. I think it's like the sustain and the 2. I don't know where it's going. Macro 2 is going. But it is moving up and down. That's what I know of. Along with that too, we have this one, which it gives it a harmony. It sounds really cool. This one is Analog Pro Dentist Chair Bass. I think that is like the thing that makes this bass really cool. It gives it that, like, I don't know, it just gives it a different vibe. Like I listen to it, I'm like, ooh, what is that? And then lastly is this garage bass from Spire. It's like a little pluck at the beginning. So with all together, without the vocals. So the learning lesson for this one is movement and having motion and playing around with the performance of the main thing of the song is what's going to make the song. So I think that's what really makes it. It's like the wobble and the movement and the variation of that. That's what like makes the song at its essence. Along with that, I have the vocals, of course. The vocals kind of like the main thing as well. This supports the vocals. If we were to put that on a hierarchy, but I like how the voice goes up and down. So I try to make the bass kind of like support that. And then to give the second part of the drop variation, we just add in a pad. And then I cut off the frequency here to give it a little bit more performance. And just like variation so that the sub's not hitting all the time. But this one has a little trance gate to it too, which makes it kind of cool. Like you meant about what we had. Stop looking like you care. So yeah, so that's the main thing. After that, everything else is pretty simple. There's this pad here as well. That adds a lot of atmosphere. Also for the second verse, I think the pattern, like the rhythm of the drop here, didn't really fit the verse. So when I made this 808, we just let it all go. I won't cry. Not tonight. Yeah, so long. It's right here in this one. Kind of like the next note change kind of goes early. So instead of doing that for the 808, I pushed it so the note changes on the beat rather than on the off beat. So it's just a small thing, but one of the problems that I had was like, I thought I had to make it all the same throughout the entire song, but I don't have to do that. Let it all go. So again, everything supports the vocals, even the little piano interlude right here. And then for the second drop,
stop looking so sad, like you mad about what we had.
So I wanted this to feel like if a drummer was like choking the cymbal. So just a different variation for the second drop, just so there's some performance in that. But other than that, pretty good. This vocal, I got it from this website called 78910, and I had to pay for this vocal. So hopefully I don't see many duplicates of this vocal anywhere else. But I like that one. This one's a good one. I'll also put the project in this video as well. So if anyone wants to download it, you can. Go to another one now. This one. Try these. All right. Okay. So for this next one, this one is a remix I did of a song called "Wait for You" by Leondis, and Leondis is an artist I've been following for a while. So he offered to give the stems, and I decided to give it a shot. So this is what it sounds like.
I'll wait for you, I'll wait for you. Oh, I'll wait for you, I'll wait for you. Oh, I'll wait for you 'cause I need you. I'll wait for you no matter the time. I'll wait for you, wait for you, wait for you. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you.
mess out, like crap out, because it can't handle anything. But this is like my second drum and bass remix that or track that I've ever done. And my reference track for this was Jungle, the Arcondo remix. Chainsmokers been playing that a lot. Martin Garrix plays that a lot. So I wanted to have this song kind of have that same vibe with it. Um, if you don't know what it sounds like, look it up. But the main thing about this song is the drop. Um, Luckily, a lot of the vocal or a lot of the samples and the stems carried this track, so I didn't have to do too much. But when it came down to the drop, um, I wanted to have a lot of high energy still. So, what really helped out with that was like these bass presets that I found. So this is what the drop sounds like again. So the learning lesson here is like theme and variations. There's a drop A and then there's a drop B as well. And it's pretty distinct on what it is. So we'll cover like both of them. So for the first one, drop A. So kind of like fits that jump up drum and bass type of vibe. Let's see. Why isn't it playing? My computer never works. So that's pretty cool. And then after that is this like, it's got like a little womp, and then everything just kind of hits you right there. So the next one is this other bass. Pretty much re-space. And then it's layered with this. It sounded really like in your face, and that's what I really wanted. But I think the most important part about this is like the composition of it. It goes from like these plucky like bass, short basses, and it goes to like a more sustained bass. And what I like about it is it still keeps the same. It's like it's definitely a remix because it keeps the vocal chops here, but then with everything layered on top of it, the syncopation is kind of cool there. And then I wanted to give it like a fake out drop like everyone does. So the frequency is like cut off, and it's kind of like as if I was on a DJ controller and using the filter knob. And that's what I do a lot with like these special drop moments, is that like I'm always thinking about the performance of the track. So if I were to just put this on a DJ controller, like if I were to just put this on a DJ controller, then I'd be thinking like, what are the effects that I would be using, or what would I do on a DJ controller that I could automate in this track? And usually the filter knob is a good way to do that. I like to do that a lot. So that's what I did for the kind of like the pre-drop type thing, or the fake out drop, and it goes into the drop B and it kind of hits you all at once. And the second drop is pretty much the same thing except with a siren. So it's tough. Also for this drop B, what's important about it is it has like a pitch bend as well. Without it, it sounds like this. See, so it's like very straight. No performance right there. So performance, when I'm thinking about how do I make the song more interesting, how do I make the song actually capture the audience attention, it's going to be with the performance of it, not just the sound design, but how you manipulate the sound. So pitch bends is good. Vibrato, there's a vibrato um, there's a vibrato macro knob here that I could be able to automate. And then as the pitch starts to go up, or as the pitch starts to go longer, I added in a shaper box automation to just kind of like wobble a little bit. And that's pretty much it. Performance. That's like the most important part about how you make your songs stand out. If you ever notice, like the coolest songs, the ones that actually stick, usually like a little like pitch bend that's kind of catchy, or there's stutters that are catchy as well. So if you're wanting to take the song to the next level, you gotta think about how is it going to perform as if it's like an actual musician. Other than that, though, everything else is like respace with a bunch of the stems, and that's why I really like this one. So we'll give it a listen, and the project will also be available.
I'll wait for you, I'll wait for you. Oh, I'll wait for you, I'll wait for you. Oh, I'll wait for you 'cause I need you. I'll wait for you no matter the time. I'll wait for you, wait for you, wait for you. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. I know we're far apart. So live with me in my heart. And I'll be here with you.
One thing I forgot to mention is along with the variation of the basses, there's also variation in the drums, which I think is very important for the feel of the song. So if I just only turn on the drums, it sounds like this. So mostly the hi-hats right there. So this one's kind of like got that rock drummer feel. And it goes into 16th notes. So 8th notes to 16th notes. Since this one has like a little tremolo with it as well. Right here. This one, these hats, they really support the vocal chop here. So I thought that was really important as well. Again, with the main lessons, the foundational lessons of like support the main thing. And the main thing is the vocal in that instance. It has the drop. This one actually, like, even though it doesn't, it is not the same rhythm as the vocal chop, I think it supports it because it gives it a cool variation with it, and it just fits. I don't know, it sounds good. So yeah, that one was like the Wait for You remix. Let's go to another one though. go to my most recent one. All right. Uh, okay, so this one is how I made my mantra remix. Um, I got to do it for Jenny. So this is what it sounds like.
Mix me with the drama, trick you like commas. My clothes up pajamas, straight from the cold plunge. Daytime videos of my yard, quick switch at a fit for the night. Zooming through the lane, maybe 20-minute late. Just get to doing it and I drive by. Not that deep, I'm not that drunk. Sometimes girls just gotta have fun, throw it back, all that ass. Me and my sister do with that. Not that deep, but not that dumb. Look at them bodies on the run, inside glowing like the sun. You're gonna feel this every day. This that pretty girl mind, you just that launch, you just touched down an elbow. Pretty girls don't do drama, let's be one. It'll be depending on the day. Pretty girls do not defend, and mom will defend, and never let.
We will not play it from this. This does not do it justice. We'll play it from SoundCloud. I had this happen while I was streaming where it just like freezes every time the project is like way too big. And I upgraded from 16 to 32 gigs of RAM and it still does it. So what do I need? Like 64 gigs or something? I'm not sure. But this is what the song sounds like.
Pretty, mix me with the drama, trick you like commas. My clothes up pajamas, straight from the cold plunge. Daytime videos of my yard, quick switch at a fit for the night. Zooming through the lane, maybe 20-minute late. Just get to doing it and I drive by. Not that deep, I'm not that drunk. Sometimes girls just gotta have fun, throw it back, all that ass. Me and my sister do with that. Not that deep, but not that dumb. Look at them bodies on the run, inside glowing like the sun. You're gonna feel this every day. This that pretty girl mind, you just that launch, you just touched down an elbow. Pretty girls don't do drama, let's be one. It'll be depending on the day. Pretty girls looking to defend, and mom will defend, and never let it catch no stray. This that pretty girl mind, you just that stun. I'll make you wanna sing both ways.
Okay. So if you want to listen to the whole song, it's right there on SoundCloud. Shout out Aiden Smith for adding my song to this playlist. Check it out. What are we up with? Where's my song? Okay. The latest one. Thank you. Hope you like it. Also, people end up finding this one. I don't know how. Like, people are finding this one either through SoundCloud or through YouTube or something like that. But I appreciate it. So let's go through this one. This one was a big project. I think it was 15 hours and 47 minutes. So this is a very classic Ben Your Friend remix. I I consider like Ben Your Friend as like very high energy. Um, I draw a lot of inspiration from progressive house, like main stage house, and also like future house as well. So very high energy, very bouncy. Where this started though was this piano loop. So I was just going on the splice and I found this. So I found that at first. And after I found that, I tried to make a drop with it. And this is what it sounded like. I actually have the first version here. Main thing of the song
This
right
that pretty girl mantra, this that flaunt. You just touched down an outlet. Pretty girls don't do drama, let's be one. It'll be depending on the day. Pretty girls picking a defend. That deep and not that down. Look at them bodies on the run. Inside glowing like the sun. You're gonna feel this every day. This that pretty girl mantra, this that flaunt. You just touched down an outlet. Pretty girls don't do drama, let's be one. It'll be depending on the day. Pretty girls picking a defend, and I'm a defender. Never let it catch no strike. This that pretty girl mantra, she's that stun. I'll make you wanna swing both ways.
So yeah, at first I had the vocals in the drop, and I also had like, it was more of like a piano house type of drop, which was not really given Ben Your Friend. So I was like, I need to change it somehow, but I still really like the that sample. So I really wanted to have that as the main thing, and this was my reference track as well. So just to give you some reference, this is what I wanted the drop to sound like at first. So yeah, Justin Bieber edit right there. My process for figuring out kind of like the vision for the remix is always making like a little mashup. So what I did is I mashed these two together, and I was like feeling what does that feel like? Can I create a remix that has the same energy as well? And this is what I got.
This that pretty girl mantra, this that flaunt. You just touched down an outlet. Pretty girls don't do drama, let's be one. It'll be depending on the day. Pretty girls picking a defend, and I'm a defender. Never let it catch no strike. This that pretty girl mantra, she's that stun. I'll make you wanna swing both ways.
Fire, right? Fire. So I had to do something like that. So instead, I kept that same piano sample, but I based the drop off of my past remixes that I've done, so I can keep that Ben Your Friend sound. So what I actually did is I saved the presets from my remix of Die Young, and I just use that here as well, and it keeps the same energy because I'm using the same presets as before. So that's a hack if you want to like really develop your sound. Your sound is created by you intentionally choosing the same samples. If you want to be known for a certain sound, then use it a lot. that's what I've learned. The drums here, let's go through the drums. There's a lot of stuff here. If I can turn it. So everything except the instruments. I will not be able to play the drop all at once though. Oh, I think I know what to do. Let me turn off the master and the master and the limiter. There we go. There we go. And then we add in the sub. going back to our lesson about performance, I always want to add performance into my tracks. So the pitch bend is really important with the bass line here. This gives it some variation. It doesn't sound so static. Because as we add on top the chords, same thing. The chords also have the pitch bend. So I just took Serum and automated it the same way for every single synth that I had, like a -7. It could also be like -12. It could be -1 if you wanted to, but I try to keep it all the same so it pitch bends the same way. And if we add in the lead here, same thing. The lead goes down. It goes new. And the same pitch bend right there. And let's see what else is here. And then I also add in the piano in the background. Same exact composition as the sample. So I first started with the sample, but it's developed into that full-blown drop. What's important is that I keep that main thing throughout the entire song. Keep the main thing the main thing. Also, with my drops, what I like to do is I like to bus it all, like all of the synths, the lead, the chords, the piano, the bass, all into one bus. And I automate the balance or the volume with this fruity balance thing. It's very subtle, but what gives like this, because I turn the volume down right before the next part where I want to emphasize, it hits a lot. I don't know. It's just there's just like a punchier feeling with and without it. So it's really something that I hear, but we'll see if you hear it as well. So this is with it. Without it. So there's just more sustain. Like there's just like it feels like the leads and the synths all sustain over the kick. So instead, I like to have this. I think we can try doing this. Maybe we could just do the synthy stuff. Maybe more pumping right there, because I think I also add in, yeah, just more pumping with that volume shaper. So I like to add that in. Since we're still on the drop, I like to add more performance with it too. So there's a little stutter here. Like you'll hear that in a lot of my tracks because I like using a stutter. So there's the volume, so that gives it the pumping action, the pitch bend, which gives it that performance in that section, and then also the stutter. So usually like my go-tos are like pitch bends and stutters. Those are always tried and true. With the lead now, sound design was important because I want the lead to be something that is memorable and it kind of sticks out and it's unique. So I decided on this one. I think there was a certain most of these are supporting leads. There's just one that's important. This one right here. So if we listen to the whole thing. I don't know. It sounds kind of like it's going through a vocoder or something like that. It sounds like sounds like someone's singing it, and I think that's the point. My melodies are supposed to be easy to sing. Everything else without it sounds like this. A little pluck in there, some like saws just to make it wider, but without it, it sounds kind of generic. And then we added this, and then add in the new lead or the main lead. It just gives it that character. And then I think I added this one in last, like as a last minute addition. Sounds like this. So it has like a lot of pitch bends in it. I think this one has the portamento on. So that's what really gives it that. It gives it just a different character in with it. So together with just the leads, it sounds like this. You could hear it right there. So it just gives it a little bit more character with it. Without it, it's just I just wanted to add in that extra layer of performance there. Other than that, though, let's see. There's the classic "Ben Your Friend" drop or "Ben Your Friend" break right here. Right there, before the vocals come in. So again, if you don't know what the "Ben Your Friend" fill is or the "Ben Your Friend" break, I like to add in this short fill by Kashmir, and then I just move over the kick from on the beat to off the beat. So it gives it like a delayed impact. I think that's always really cool. Other than that, though, let's see. And then the second break here. So I always like to, in my second break, I always like to have a little bit more variation just so it doesn't just sound like the beginning part. So this is where like a little variation comes into play. So this part right here, the main inspiration just for this little phrase was like was from this song. Right? TikTok. The Running Man dance. So I was like looking up like what genre is this, and I think it's called Miami bass. Let me know if I'm wrong with that. But Miami bass has got like the little Running Man beat, so I wanted to add that in because it it fit this like kind of 80s ish dancey vibe here. But I don't know, it was just stuck in my head. What's up, Nini-san? Welcome. Glad you're here. Let me know if you're still here though. I've just been recording this, but if you're here, I can show you anything that you want as well. So with the percussion here, the percussion was like where it was the main thing that I had to really focus on. And these bells are really cool. I really like this. I've used this in a few other tracks before, but it's these nice bells from Nexus. And I wanted to have it like sing along with the main melody. Again, with every single one of my tracks, everything that I create has to support whatever the main thing is. So these bells aren't going to be like another counter melody. I wanted to actually like be the same, almost be like a highlighter for the melody. As Jenny sings, so that you don't forget the melody. So it's really memorable because I like emphasize it so many times. And then it goes back into the drop again. So yeah, the main decision for this one was like, what is like the emotion for this? What is the feel that I'm trying to have? And that was the feel. It's kind of like this like crying on the dance floor, like 80s um, type of feel, without it actually feeling like 80s. Uh, the last thing here is like the pre-drop for the second drop is different as well, and it sounds like this. So one more time, because that was pretty cool. So first I made like a pre-drop stack. So I just stacked it all because I just wanted to be like I wanted to work with everything all at once. And this was it was like a lot of trial and error with figuring out what I wanted. But I think I did another track where it was like it has that like same crash and impact rhythm. And I just added in the kicks there, crashes at the same time. And then I composed it a little bit differently as well. So it's not just the main melody again, but it's just like a different variation. And then the main part about this, the special part, is the sustain at the end and the automations that I added in. So I wanted it there to be like a stutter with the like as the notes sustain, I wanted there to be more stutter, and I wanted it to feel like grittier. So as it starts to go up, the volume speed for Shaper Box here, let's see where I can find it. Might be this one right here. The hertz right here, I just automated that up and down. So that was just trial and error and figuring out what I wanted with that. And this one, what is this? And then it has a little tape stop thing at the end of it. Like pew, and there's little record scratches here. So again, like when I'm thinking about how I want to play around with the performance, I could have like a cool sound design thing, but I like to think simple and practical. Like if I was performing this on a DJ deck, like what would I do? I would hit like the vinyl stop, and then I would have like I'd be able to scratch the records, scratch the vinyls. So it sounds really organic that way, and that's what I really like, organic and simple sounds. And then it goes into the main drop again. Pitch bend, and then pitch bend, that's also really important. I wanted to have like this electric guitar type of feel, where it's like you're moving your finger up the neck, or up the up the neck of the guitar, so it's like going up. And it's almost like if you had like a whammy thing, you know, like Guitar Hero, like the whammy thing, the whammy bar, like that was what I wanted to add in. I wanted to have that type of feel, so I just did whatever I could to have that feel, and it came out like this. So that's the project. If I'll have this one available as well when I finish this video. Other than that, this was for Jenny. I hope she's proud of it. Let's go to another one. Okay, hopefully this opens. If this one doesn't open, then we might have to finish up here. Let's see if this works. Okay. All right. So this is how I made my song "Average Joe's." One of my favorite songs here. It actually stems uh, from my cousin Joseph, and it started off from this clip here. Let me see if I can show it.
Hey guys, Joseph back here. Doing the vlog. We got Reese here. And we got Gigi. We have Derek here. I don't want to embarrass him, but we are causing quite a scene right now. We got security bringing him a fucking wheelchair. We haven't hit the club yet. Me and JJ trying to hit J Balvin. We're trying to get some. We're trying to get some hoes. We're trying to get some hoes. But hey. But we gotta take care of our homeboy first. Hey, that's loyalty. Loyalty. Hey.
Okay. Well, that'll be the extent of what we see. So this one, I don't know why it's not showing. Oh my god, my FL, it just crashed. Okay, so for this one, this was really inspired by that clip that you just saw, and my main reference tracks for this was like, if you listen to Pickle, like it's a very like tech house. He has a certain sound. It's very simple, and I wanted to like I referenced a lot of Pickle songs for this one, and it also gave me the vibe of like hashtag selfie by the Chainsmokers, where it's like the spoken word thing. It's kind of funny if you actually listen to it, but then the drop is pretty like um it's got like pretty good party vibes with it. So hopefully if my project opens, I'll be able to show it. There we go. Oh my god. This is not gonna work out. Bruh. Alright, we're done here.